Hey, this is Gary Talley, and I want to welcome you to my Dadgum podcast. I'm going to be talking about my experience in the music business, playing with the Box Tops in the 60s, the Beach Boys, Jimi Hendrix, the Doors, a lot of interesting stuff. I'm going to be interviewing other musicians. We're going to be talking to my mom, Nita Talley, and how she learned how to play and sing. We're going to be talking about how to play a musical instrument, how to learn how to play, and some misconceptions people have about learning to play an instrument, especially guitar. I want to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my website, GaryTalley.com, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Let me know what you want to talk about, and stay tuned. So as I said before, Swain Schaefer was our keyboard player at the time. And Swain and I decided we're going to go to Paris. We're in London for 2 weeks, and we thought, wow, what a great adventure that would be to go to Paris. So we got on a train, and we went to Dover, the White Cliffs of Dover and all that. Pretty stormy day. Got on a ship, went across the English Channel, and the weather was not good. It was very, very rough seas that day. We got into France. We landed in a place called Calais. We took a train to Paris. And I don't remember how we decided on this hotel. Somebody told us we should stay on the left bank, and neither one of us knew anything about Paris much. So we went to this place called Hotel Cluny, now I think it's called Hotel Cluny Square, but it was on Boulevard Saint-Michel. Very small hotel. We did the normal tourist things, Eiffel Tower, and my favorite thing that I did was climb up the bell tower at Notre Dame Cathedral, and that's thinking that's where Quasimodo went up to the bell. So it's a long, long way up there, dark and windy, and you get to a landing, and you can see all those gargoyles up there. Really fascinating. And it was very cold. It was much colder in Paris than it was in London. And I put on an extra pair of pants just to keep warm. And Swain was off doing something else. I was at Notre Dame Cathedral. And time was kind of getting away from me, so I realized that I needed to meet him at the train station. We had to get back to London because we had a press conference coming up. So I had to get back to the hotel pretty quick and get to the train station. And when I got to Calais, I had to go through customs there, the French customs, and I realized I didn't have my passport. I had left it in the other pants pocket that I had taken off and left in the hotel room in Paris. So they wouldn't let me out of the country without my passport. So I was really freaking out. I was so worried I was going to have to get back to Paris, and then I'd have to go to the airport to fly out because now there wasn't going to be time enough for me to get back and take a train. So I checked the train schedules, and there was no train going back to Paris that night. So I'm really upset. I'm despondent, and this old French man was watching me. He was standing next to me there at customs, and fortunately he could speak English because I didn't speak any French. And he said there was going to be a black train with no markings on it that would come to the station at midnight, and it was going to be going to Paris, and all I had to do was get on it. And I thought, whoa, that sounds mysterious. A black train with no markings at midnight? Wow. So I didn't have much choice. I just hung around, and I waited till midnight, and sure enough, a black train with no markings on it pulled into the station, and there were, I think, maybe 2 other people waiting for that train. So I got on the train and asked if it was going to Paris, and somebody said it was. So the train started up. A little while later, the conductor came by, and I paid him. And I'm watching my money real close, trying to calculate in francs, because I still had to get a cab to the hotel and then to the airport, and then I had to buy a plane ticket to London. And so it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when we got back to Paris. So I got a cab to the hotel, and I had my new 35 millimeter camera and some lenses in a nice camera bag. We got to the hotel, and as I picked it up to go into the hotel, the cab driver said, "No, leave that." He didn't trust me to not skip out on the fare if I took my camera bag in with me. So that was very tense. Anyway, he wasn't going to wait for me if I didn't leave it. So I ran in there, left the camera bag. I went up the steps, and at the top of the steps, the lady that ran the hotel was standing there with my passport in her hand. I don't know how she knew I was there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And anyway, so I said, thank you, ran back down the stairs, got back in the cab. He was still there, of course, with my camera case. And I said, please drive very fast, because it was something like, s'il vous plaît, conduisez très vite, or something like that. Anyway, because I didn't have very much time to get on a plane, so we had to go to Orly Airport. And I'm looking at my money and looking at the meter and going, oh no, I'm going to run out of money. So we got to the airport, and I didn't have much money left. I could pay the fare, but I didn't have enough money to tip him. I was afraid to. So he yelled at me and called me names as I ran into the airport, because I didn't tip him after making him drive like a maniac. So I got up to the ticket counter and found out how much the flight was to London, and I didn't have enough money. I was, I don't know, $10 or $15 short. I forgot. Anyway, so I thought, what am I going to do? So I looked around, and I had on this pair of Italian loafers, which were pretty expensive. And so what I did was I found a guy in line there who was willing to buy my Italian loafers, which were worth a couple of $100, and for like $20. And I got on the plane, just barely got on the plane in my socks, and we flew to London. So we got to London about, 4:30 in the morning, and I had to get a cab, had no money, get one of those famous black, London cabs. And I told the guy I didn't have any money, so I'd have to run up and get some money from Cleve, our road manager. And so I did that, came back down and paid the cab driver. So I got back to London from Paris, and I was back in time for the big Box Tops press conference the next morning, and we'll resume with the Box Tops in London on the next podcast. Thanks for listening to my Dadgum podcast. I want to invite you to interact with me by going to my website, GaryTalley.com. When you get there, you can book me to play gigs, or teach guitar workshops, or book individual guitar lessons. You can follow the Box Tops touring schedule. You can link to my YouTube channel and subscribe to that. See videos of my mom, Nita Talley, singing and playing piano, and buy my mom's CDs. I play live around Nashville in a few bands. I have a duo with Sally Sladen Berry called Take Two, and we've got a Facebook page. I do recording around Nashville, playing guitar on songs, and I can do that for you too. Thanks for listening.